We spend an awful lot of our time comparing objects to tell if they're the same or different or greater than or less than each other or different things like that. And so I want to show how you can write some methods to do those kinds of comparisons. I'll start off with the equals method, which you're probably used to for things like strings and possibly other objects. And those are built in. They've got something built in that works to do that comparison. But for objects and classes that you design, the built-in version will only do memory equality, just like double equals sign will do. So if I run this code that I have here that has some basic book classes and creates some objects of those types, one basic book class, and creates some objects of that type, it is allowed to call equals between a book and any other object. So I can ask if book 1 equals book 2. I can ask if book 4 equals book 2. I can even ask if book 1 equals a string, or if book 3 equals a string. And you can see that, for instance, some of these books are actually similar. For instance, book 2 is Pedagogy of the Oppressed by Paulo Freire with the same ISBN as book 4. So if I was running a library, I might want to know that these are duplicates of the same book and just that someone typed the name of the author differently. Or maybe they put second edition when they're both second edition, or different things like that. So I might care only about particular pieces of the information. They may not need to be the same object in memory. And we see that for all of the questions I've asked here, my program has responded false. The only time that it should respond true in the built-in equals method is if I take something like book 4 and compare it to itself, book 4. Then I will get a true response from it, but every other time, because they're not memory equal, they don't occupy the same place in memory, every other one is going to tell us false. The way we can get around this is to write an equals method, and that allows us to tell Java what we care about here in comparing two objects of this book type or this book type to objects of another type. So the equals method has this signature. The built-in one looks just like this too. It takes an object O as its parameter. Now, the typical rule is that you should definitely handle objects of your same type, and typically we don't handle objects of types other than our class's same type. We're going to break that rule a little bit here so that I can do things like query whether an ISBN matches something in my library, which is a useful thing to have. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to see if O, the object that was given to us, is a book. And to do that, we say, is O instance of book? Then I'm going to take it and store it in a book variable and treat it as a book, because I now know it is a book. I can tell Java, don't worry, I know it's a book. Let's treat it as a book. And if it's a book, I can return true or false based on whether my ISBN equals its ISBN, B's ISBN. So typically we would do this, and then we would just return false if it's not a book. We can run that, and we'll see how it works for us so far. Now I should get some true responses and some false responses. So I get false for comparing The Hobbit to Pedagogy of the Oppressed. I get true for comparing those two objects that both represented the same ISBN version of Pedagogy of the Oppressed, with a minor difference in the author's name being written. So it will tell me true for that. And it will tell me true if I compare the same book to itself still. That's good. But it will tell me false for these ISBN matches, even when the ISBN is the same as one of the books that I'm comparing to. Let's fix that. So if it's not a book that's been given to us, we can just return true or false based on whether the object that was given to us matches our ISBN. So again, this would let us do things like look up and see if a particular ISBN matches a book that's in our library. So I ask if this thing's ISBN equals O, then I'll return true or false based on that. Again, this breaks the rules of the equals a little bit, because if I asked the other way around, does ISBN equal book 3? I would get false because strings don't know how to compare to books, but this provides us some useful functionality to be able to do lookups based on an ISBN or based on some key that represents our data in whatever data structure we're storing it in. So now if I run, I should get one more true. When I take that ISBN that matches Kindred by Octavia Butler, then I get true for that one. I still get false when I'm asking about this ISBN to a book that doesn't have that ISBN. And I would get false for any other kind of object. If I fed it a scanner or a file or something, I would get false for all of those as well. But this allows me to take that key information about the book and to be able to match it up and see that those match. And again, the order will matter in how it's called. So you do have to be very careful that you're not saying, for instance, ISBN equals book 3, because strings will not know how to compare to a book and they'll simply return false. But this equals method, simple as it is, testing for whether it's a book and comparing the two books' ISBNs, or if it's not a book, just check and see if it matches your ISBN. That will allow you to do much more thorough comparisons of objects of these types if you have some key identifying information, like an ISBN, that would allow you to detect these matches, these duplicates here.